Okay, we are now 17 days into this war in the Middle East, and frankly, the official stories we're hearing, they just aren't adding up. So today, let's cut through all that noise and try to figure out what's actually happening on the ground.
So here's the core of the problem. On one hand, you have the United States saying the war is nearly won. But then, on the other hand, Iran's official position is our best weapons are unused. Now look, they can't both be right. So the question is, where's the truth in all this?
That's the big question, isn't it? What is the truth on day 17? So in this explainer, we're going to dig into the facts we can actually verify and try to separate what's real from what's just propaganda.
All right, first up, let's talk about the war of words. Because right now, both sides are making these huge contradictory claims, all to try and control the story you and I hear. So, get this, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps is saying that all the missiles and drones they've used so far, that's old tech. Their newer, more advanced stockpile, they say, hasn't been touched. Now, if that's true, think about what that means. It means the world has only seen a tiny piece of what they can actually do. And it's not just about weapons. The diplomatic stories are clashing too. You have the U.S. suggesting that Iran is looking for a way out, an off-ramp. But then Iran's foreign minister goes on American television of all places and says the complete opposite. Quote, "We never asked for a ceasefire. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes." That's a message of strength, not desperation.
Okay, but words are one thing, right? Let's move on and look at the actual facts from the front lines. What do they tell us?
Around 200. That's the number of U.S. troops confirmed wounded so far. And look, this isn't just some statistic. It's a very real human cost. And what's really striking is where it's happening.
This isn't just happening in one place. We're talking about U.S. forces taking casualties in seven different countries: Iraq, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, and Jordan. This tells you this is not some isolated fight. It points to a really coordinated regional campaign by Iran and its allies.
And get this, not even the most heavily protected areas are safe. For the third time, a drone has managed to strike inside Baghdad's green zone. Now remember, this is supposed to be the fortress, it's where the U.S. Embassy is. Hitting it repeatedly sends a very clear message: we can and we will hit you at the very heart of your power here.
37. Just think about that number for a second. That's how many Iranian drones Saudi Arabia had to shoot down in just one day. And this isn't just a military fight, it's economic warfare. See, each one of those drones is relatively cheap to make, but intercepting them costs millions of dollars. It's a strategy designed to just bleed a key U.S. ally's resources dry day after day.
And this whole thing isn't just happening in the Middle East, it's causing major cracks on the global stage. The world is really divided on this.
You know, the U.S. called for a united front, asked its traditional European allies to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz, and the European Union's foreign ministers officially said no, flat out refused. That's a huge deal. This kind of diplomatic snub leaves the U.S. looking more and more isolated in this whole standoff.
And while the West hesitates, look who's stepping in: China. They've just announced they're sending emergency humanitarian aid to Iran, Lebanon, Jordan, and Iraq. Make no mistake, this isn't just about charity. It's a massive geopolitical move. Beijing is sending a clear message and positioning itself as the new power broker in a region where American influence seems to be fading.
All right. Beyond all the politics and the military strategy, we have to talk about the true cost of all this. Because after just 17 days, the human price is, well, it's devastating.
More than 2,200 people. Let that number sink in. That's the confirmed death toll in just over 2 weeks. It's a staggering figure that really shows you just how intense and brutal this fighting has been.
And when you actually break those numbers down, the tragedy just gets deeper. In Iran alone, more than 200 of the dead are children. In Lebanon, it's over 100 children. These are the kinds of horrific, brutal facts of war that just get completely lost behind all the political headlines.
Now, this next statement. This might be one of the most chilling things to come out of this war so far. Iran's parliament speaker said, "The Strait of Hormuz cannot return to what it was before this war." What he's saying is, it doesn't matter how this ends, with a ceasefire, a treaty, whatever. The old rules for shipping oil through the world's most important waterway, they're gone, forever. And that has huge, massive implications for the entire global economy.
Okay, so after looking at the official claims, the facts on the ground, and the global reaction, what's the verdict? Where do things actually stand on day 17? So let's just quickly recap what we know for sure.
You've got two completely different stories about negotiations. Iran is claiming its best weapons haven't even been used yet. The U.S. is taking casualties across seven countries. The international community, it's fractured, not united. The human cost is already soaring past 2,200 dead, and on top of it all, Iran is signaling a permanent change to the Strait of Hormuz. When you put all that together, the evidence just does not support the idea that this war is nearly won.
So, if the story about a quick victory isn't true, and all the facts we're seeing point to a conflict that's getting wider, more costly, and way more unpredictable, it leaves us with one final, really troubling question. On day 17, is this war actually ending, or is it just getting started?